I'm ready. Let's do this. I'm a bit rusty. I haven't been interviewed in a long time, so bear with me.
Just keep it low key. Shh. Don't tell nobody. Yeah, that's right. Too many secrets. Too many secrets. Too many secrets. Best you can keep them. Too many secrets. Too many secrets. Best you can keep them. Too many secrets.
Thank you for having me. This great, excited for this interview. I'm pretty good so far. I always say so far because you never know the rest of the day how it's gonna come out. So far. The COVID thing. I'll tell you. If COVID was a person, I will stomp him out. It's been annoying. The mask, I can't handle it. I can't handle that mask, and I can't even breathe with that damn thing on. So excuse me for the word, but it's very annoying. I just want it to be over with, be finished, done, go back to a regular life. Even though I know people have their struggles in life and everything, but people are even struggling more with this. So I just wish it was over with. I was born in Miami, Florida, Jackson Memorial. And I was raised in the city that progresses, Hialeah. For all the people out there, they shot at Hialeah, 305, Dade County. How was I growing up? Yeah, I can say it was a little rough around the edges. I don't know. I don't know how to really put it because it wasn't like miserable or nothing like that, or super hard life. It was just I made it very complicated sometimes. It was just me, I guess you could call it troubled youth or whatever. But I made myself very complicated. A lot of fights, a lot of things going on. How was I in school? Bad kid. I was hideous. Yeah. I think that sounded actually kind of bad. Hideous. I just. The funny thing is, all right, let me explain myself over here real quick. I don't want people to misconstrue this. It wasn't that I was a troublemaker or I was always fighting, for no reason. Just, I remember when I first got to school, even though I didn't really got much to talk when it comes to school, I stayed in school only to the age of 14, and I dropped out, and I just, the rest of the days that I was technically raised street style. Just I didn't like what was going on since I was a kid, I went into school late. I think I went into school when I was like 8, 9 years old or something like that. And I remember that back then, I used to go to a school called Twin Lakes Elementary. And I think it was Twin Lakes Elementary and Junior High. It was like a mixed school with junior high and elementary school, and all the kids were all mixed with each other, and it was a disaster. I think they changed that afterwards. And I remember I was just, since the moment I went in there, I saw a lot of, they call them bullies. I didn't call them bullies back then. To me, it was just kids that picked on other kids, And so I started seeing that a lot in school. So my father always told me, you go for the head. Always go for the head honcho, dude. And that's the one you stick it to him. Don't think about it in a weird way. Stick it to him. Well, I went, and that's exactly what I did. I stuck it to him. No, I just went, and I remember there was like 2, 3 kids. That's when everything went south. And funny thing is that they were the most famous kids in the school, and they weren't not even in elementary. These kids were in junior high, already 13, 14 years old. And here I come, 8, 9 years old, and I went and I did what I had to do. You know, I saw him picking on a kid, bullying a kid. And I got a book, probably, you know, this here high, something like that, you know. Thick book, one of those geographic books. And I never forget, I stuck the first one right in the temple. Whammo! KO. The other two stayed looking at me and shot. Oh, we're gonna beat your ass. Go right ahead. Come on, bring it. And when they saw that, it was like, yo, what's up with this little ass kid, you know, doing this to junior high kids. And from there on in, I told them, wherever I see you and I see you picking on a kid or something, I'm gonna beat your ass. And I did. And I did it. So from there on in, to make it short, straight F's after that. What would I tell a bully or a cyber bully? You gotta remember something. A bully's a coward. That's the way it is. You know, a bully's the ultimate form of a coward. It's a person that can't hang by himself. He can't defend himself. You know, he has to pick on the weak. You know, and it's not a reality, and I don't even see it that these kids are weak. It's just that they're not into that in their life. Trust me, they can defend themselves, but that's not the way they're built. They're not built to look for trouble or get in fist fights all the time. So that's what a bully does, you know. Or they hang around with a bunch of people and they bully other people around. And a cyber bully is even more of a coward, because at least the other bully can get cracked. The cyber bully is even more of the coward of hiding behind a screen and talking bad to kids or talking bad to other artists. And when I take it how I take that, that doesn't exist to me. Because the truth is, they're not telling it to me in my face, or else something else will happen to them. But, or defend myself, or at least I'll speak to them first. You know, I'll try to make them reconcile their life or something. You know, make them change their way of thinking. Well, they don't put a hand on me, but that is the trend. I didn't grow up with that or cyberbullying. It was just straight up bullying, straight up bullies, and you take care of them the way you take care of them. That's where I came in. I used to see it, took care of business. That's the way I was built. You know, I used to like fighting. Not anymore, I'm not into that. But I used to like that, and I used to get a thrill out of beating up somebody that used to beat up on other kids. You know, so, or anybody else, because even as growing up and already I was an adult, I still, you know, had a lot of fist fights. Anybody I saw with that, you know, I even got arrested a lot of times for that same situation. You know, I saw anything happen, I used to get involved. You know, I think about things now twice, because nowadays, you know, like I said, there's been a lot of cowards. There's a lot of cowards out there. So now it's the whole cyberbullying and talking bad about, you know, this and talking bad about that. And there's people that take that to heart. And all I can say to these people is just take it, try to take it the way I take it. If you are actually taking time out of your life to talk something bad about me, my brother, you're my biggest fan, or sister, or whatever, you know, you're my biggest fan. If you're that miserable that you have to talk something negative about me when you don't know me or I even know you, man, I feel like I like something beyond this world. That's actually, if you start thinking about it, that's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible that somebody will take their time of their life just to talk bad about you. Man, you're powerful. So, don't pay no mind. I'm sorry I'm talking to the camera, but, you know, direct connection here. See it the way I see it. Just cowards that are your biggest, the true biggest fans of yours, and the ones that take the most time to spread your name around the world. So, don't pay attention to that. They're nothing. Leeches. What was my best class? My best class that I've ever had. even give a big shout out on this one. I'll give a big shout out because, you know, I had a great year that year. I actually moved out at the age of 12 years old. I still stayed in Miami, but I moved to a spot in Kendall. It's an area in Miami called Kendall. And I moved over there, and I went to a school that was called Jack D. Gordon. Big shout out Jack D. Gordon, man. And, you know, Hialeah kid, you know, street kid. You know, I don't know how school is now, but, you know, when I went there, everybody was like, yo, bro, Hialeah kid is here, bro. Like, and then they saw, everybody thought I was going to be that bully. Everybody thought I was going to be that bully or pick on kids and be like, oh my God, here comes the street kid. And funny thing is, I was like 12 years old and I was still in that school. It was bad. I was bad, man. I was bad thinking about it. Thanks a lot for giving me a different path in life. I'm telling you, man, I was blessed. Because I was supposed to be dead or in jail or something, man. And I just got there, and when they saw the way I was, I made my person felt real fast. It was the first day. I looked at it like my father always told me. Get that. Go for the head of the table. And I remember I go into class. It was a coincidence that I get into the class. That was the tough kid. It was another, you know, like 12-year-old like me. Well, my school years weren't very long. 14, I was out. And he first thing he does is tell me, you know I'm not afraid of you, right? When a man tells you that and he don't even know, he don't even know who you are, and he says, I'm not afraid of you, you know that he's, boy, if he starts running, he's going to slip on his own, you know, let me say it in a nice way, on his own pool, you know. And I say, you're not afraid of me? Man, that's exactly the way I like him, because you're overconfident. Oh, I'm not a pack. Done. After that, everybody in the school was like, yo, Primo is the man. That's the man. I had everybody, all the girls like me, all the kids like me, all the boys like me. Everybody liked me. Everybody, yo, man, no more. That was the only time I stuck somebody in that school. When the whole other school years were bad. That's the only time I stuck that one kid, and then after that, he became one of my, not one of my best friends. Because one of my best friends back then was Jonathan Rodriguez. Hopefully he's looking at this, man. I lost contact with him a long time ago. Great kid. And that's it, you know? Yeah, after that, it was fun times. Fun times. You know, that was actually that one school year I got out of the whole report card, I actually got 1D. So, I had teachers do some crazy things to me, you know, besides, you know, a lot of, you know, detentions and stuff like that. You know, at one time, I was put in a corner for like the whole day. Literally. I got that morning to class, and I was put all day on my feet in a corner looking at the corner. And what's funny is that I never hated that teacher as much as I disliked what my last school teacher, computer teacher, said to me. He didn't even tell me anything, he said to me. And I remember, I'm not good with technology, and my friends, my family can vouch for this. I'm not good in technology whatsoever. I'm just, and not very fond of it either. On a cell phone, text, maybe go on the web. Simple. Make a phone call. I'm not good with computers. So I asked the teacher, and I told him, you know, could you please help me out with something that's going on with the computer? And he goes, of course, Primo. I will. By the way, I've been called Primo forever. You know, I hate my real name. Don't take it the wrong way. Everybody call me Primo. I'd rather have Primo than people call me my real name. You know, let's put it like this. Somebody calls me my real name, I don't even answer. Who is that guy? So I'm not even going to say it. So I remember he tells me that, because once again, all the kids just call me Primo, and he tells me that it's going to be great. You know, he goes, of course, Mr. Primo, you need help. I tell you one thing, when you get older, I'm going to be the proudest person to go to that McDonald's and you serve me the best burger a man can fry. So even though I was 14 years old and I could have taken the very violent way on this one, because I used to be violent, I kept it in my mind and I said, don't worry about it. This is going to be, let's see what happens when I get older. So I'm going to come off the script here a little bit and talk to that camera, because maybe one day you'll see that. And you know what it is, Ammons Middle, that computer teacher, the first year that Ammons Middle ever opened, that computer teacher, if you're ever looking at this man, I really hope, first of all, I really hope I never get to see you, because I'm not going to do nothing violent to you, nothing like that, but I never forget those words you told me, and that's how you should treat kids, right? So I better hope, man, you won some Nobel Prizes or you turn really rich in your life, because I tell you one thing, that burger, you're going to end up serving it for me, because you know that you're that type of bully. Even though you're a teacher, you're a bully. And there's a lot of bully teachers out there that don't take their time to take care of kids. And I don't want to hear excuses. Teach the kids right. You don't tell them things like that. You know, but I'm glad I took those words, and I'm glad by the age of 14 I was gone. Because you will never, not even in the soul of my feet, I don't want to sound cocky, but people like you have to be treated like that. You like to treat people bad, I'm going to treat you bad. By myself. So, I hope you take that lesson. Was I a competitive child growing up? Man, I've been competitive since I was a kid. I've been competitive now. I'm never going to stop being competitive. But I have a different type of competitiveness. I don't like to be competitive in a complex type of way. That I feel that I got to be better than you. Or I think, even though I used to be like that in my past a little bit, and I used to see Mr. Muscle Bound, he thinks he's a little macho man, with a little perky breast, and they look like female breasts, but whatever. See, I'm always messing it up, Hey, I'm just gonna be me here. I'm just gonna be me. Maybe, I used to go and disinflate them real quick, because I have that luck in my life. I don't know if it's just the way I look, maybe the tattoos, I don't know what it is. Another man sees me, they get that chicken chest. They puff up the chest. When in reality, I don't really pay attention. Nah, I don't really. It's like, bro, you could suck in all your breath there and faint if you feel like to. Before, I used to disinflate them, It felt good too, all them years in the gym and disinflate them a regular dude. And I have some pictures there, 18, they're nice. They're nice. I was nice and fresh. So, when tattoos weren't cool either, at all. I was tatted up when tattoos were not cool whatsoever. Yeah, you have to earn those. Once again, I'm not knocking anybody, but competitive in the sense as, I'll give you an example, not to take too much time on this question. If I'm driving a Pinto and my top speed is 65 miles per hour, and you're in a Lamborghini SV, and you got, 600 horsepower, 700, 800, I don't know what the horsepower that's, and you have whatever you have, obviously, you're going to whip my butt. But sooner or later, you're gonna let go of that throttle. And that's when the 65 mile per hour type band little hoopty. Peace. Eventually you're gonna come out of an exit, or you're gonna let go of the throttle, and I am gonna pass you, and I'm gonna do the piece. You gotta do the piece. My most embarrassing childhood memory. There was this girl I liked in school. I wasn't the girl type, let's put it like that. I had no luck with girls. You know, I don't know if girls like me or not, because I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the type to go up to girls and bust a Mac. I've never been that type. I've never been good at that. You know, I just treat, you know, even though I know my albums, I've said a lot of, you know, crazy stuff before, but it is what it is. It's just music. You know, even though I've changed that up, you know, I'm not the same guy anymore. But I was very shy when it came to women, when it came to girls and stuff. So I remember this was also in the last school year, and, you know, it's not I was a little baby or nothing, I was already 14. And this girl liked me I cut the thing here real quick. I went outside to PE class, and I actually had the courage to speak to this girl. Well, make the story short, the girl actually complies with me. She starts talking to me back and forth, this and that. She tells me, "What are you doing after class?" I was like, you know, I had to play the sexy. You know, it's on the shoulders. Gotta do the shoulders. I ain't doing nothing, baby. You gotta, you know. I know that's very bad right now, but let's just go with it. I ain't doing nothing, baby. She's like, all right, so let's meet up after class. So you got it. I'm in, baby. I'm in. Well, I guess I got a little overconfident over here, and I'm over here flexing and doing all these weird little maneuvers. And I stretched my leg incorrectly. And my interior decided to speak. Like a karate man. Let's just say I never got to meet up with her afterwards. That was done. Was my parents strict? Yeah. Yeah, they were pretty strict. But in their weird way. My mom didn't play. And every person out there that has a Spanish mom, you know how that works. It ain't gonna roll. You know, you got disrespectful out of hand. You know, you just kind of sort of disrespect. You just look at them wrong and you're gonna get it. But my father was more. He was strict in the sense as don't disrespect. Don't disrespect your elders. Don't do drugs, stuff like that. You know, he didn't comply with none of that. You know, he always said, you want to lose everybody's respect, be a drug addict, be an alcoholic, and they'll start seeing you as what you are. You know, so I always respected that part of him telling me that. You know, and of course, kids grow up and then they become rebellious. And, and the parents ain't looking anymore what the hell they're doing. So things get a little out of hand. So, were they strict? They weren't strict to that point or abusive or nothing like that. They were just strict in the sense as respect. You know, in this household, this is not school, in other words. So, I have a family member. Best story. Funniest, right? Funniest. Man, the funniest, there's just so many. No, so many, but all of them is usually with my brother, you know, and it's just funny moment. There's so many funny moments. One of my best friends, childhood friend, actually, real childhood friend of mine. His name is George Dominici, and I just remember one day we were having. It was just it was funny all the way through. Everything was happening. So George, you know, we end up racing, right? We're going to this place called, back then it was called Moroso Motorsports Park, right? And we're drag racing and stuff. I've always been into cars and stuff. My brother especially used to race professionally and all that. So we're racing with this and that, and George is just playing out a fool, right? This entwines into something else. But we raced this Mustang. My brother had an F-150 Lightning back then. And he was pushing like 800 something horsepower to the wheel or something like that, you know, for people that know about cars. Whatever. It was fast. It was fast. So we end up racing this Mustang. Well, in the middle of the highway, don't street race. I'm totally against it now. But young, dumb, and full of boop. You know, you're doing things. So we're racing. My brother blows the motor. Probably $40,000, $50,000 engine that he fully built. And he blows the motor on it. We get on the side of the road. And George is like, he was the mechanic of the group. And George had a big fro. He had a big afro. And he gets, you guys stay behind. I'll get under the car and I'll check it out. So he's back there and there's no lights or nothing, you know, and all we had was, back then those Nokia phones one had like a little flashlight. It was like taking pictures. He was taking a gazillion pictures just to see things. And all you see is like something black coming out of the engine. You can tell it's motor oil. When he comes out of there, he's like, hey guys, everything is, it looked like it was sweat, all oil, but like full oil. His fro was full of oil, about drenched that it looked like a sea sponge full of paint or water. And he looks like he's sweating. He looks like a 1970s porn star with this like dripping off. And it was so great that I was like hypnotized by it, because it's like his whole afro sponged up the whole motor oil. It was incredible. We actually moved a little forward in the car and there was a motor oil in the car. It was all on his fro. It's the craziest thing in the world. The crazy part, that was the thing that made me laugh the most. Man, we did some wild days. George, bro, I love you, man, but I had to say this story. So I go and we end up back in Hialeah, right? Once again, this place is very far from Hialeah. You know, maybe an hour and a half drive or something like that. And we end up getting to Hialeah and we decide to go to Walmart. So when we go to Walmart, we decided to go to Walmart to actually, you know, get some food and some frozen stuff and things like that. So George decides, I'm trying to put this in a nice way. George decides, remind you, he still hasn't cleaned his hair. And he's still dripping that oil all over his body, right? George is a big guy. George back there was like, I don't know, 280, 6'5" or something like that. Let's put it like this, probably 300 pounds. I don't know. Let's just say that's one dude you don't mess with. And I'm not afraid of nobody. I'll think 10,000 times before messing with George. I love you, man. So he just decides, you know, he just decides, oh, Primo, you're so gorgeous. Yeah, I look back and it catches me off guard. I go, who the hell said that? It's me, but George is not behind me. I'm like, yo, who is that? So I'm with my brother, and I'm with another friend of ours called CeeLo. He's called CeeLo, and with Biggie, another childhood friend of mine, all childhood friends of mine. And he's out of a sudden, just George comes out of, you know, an aisle with his pants all the way up here, in the middle of a jam-packed Walmart. I'm talking about jam-packed Walmart. You know, the guy was gifted. He's gifted, you know, Allah blessed him real good. And it was just, you know, and it's not because he's black either. I think he was just blessed like that. The whole sausage was coming out of the pants. And he's following me through all Walmart, chasing me down. Primo, have you been all my life? But it's like, the more he did it, the more he got into this obsessive character. It was so bad. There was security walking behind us, running behind us. Biggie, Carlos, my brother, all dying, and this guy just decides on chasing me. Oh my God, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. I'm dying laughing during the whole thing, but imagine laughing and trying to run as hard as you can. And a lot of women liked it because they got a sneak peek at the package of George. But George is such a unique individual that George didn't realize or really cared that any of the females were looking at the package. You know, we call it in Spanish a muñeco, you know. He just did not care, and he just went all out into this one character, and then just comes out of Walmart, chases me out of Walmart. Everybody's laughing. People are taking out their cheap ass, you know, smartphones back then, filming everything. Not even smartphones. I don't even know what the hell they were called back then. The beginning of the Razor era. And it was all caught on film. Maybe one day somebody has these films and it shows it out. And just as he was playing the character, he flipped it around. Puts down his pants, like all's good and gravy, his spongy hair full of motor oil, and just looks at me and tells me, Primo, you know that I just realized that I don't remember that name. I'm dead serious about this. Aisle 12 had some bleach on the floor. I'm thinking about going back and slipping on purpose and do a slip and fall lawsuit. It was like the Dave Chappelle, Lil Jon thing. Like he went from a character to straight to speaking all professional. He sounded like the lawyer with just motor oil dripping. Tuku, tuku, tuku. One for the ages. One thing is talking about, another thing is living it. It was amazing. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yep. I had to do this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to do this. Wardrobe change. I'm going to be the first one in history to do this during an interview. Gotta do the wardrobe change. When have you seen that, huh? Where have you seen that? It's how Primo rolls, man. It was good. It's good clothing. I'll do a photo shoot later on. Don't matter. All right, Hugo, what's the question again? Was paintball a hobby? Let's put it like this. Paintball took me out of a lot of situations. Paintball, I actually got to a point of playing professional paintball for a team. I'm not going to say the name because once again, I don't know if they sold that team or it's somewhere else, or I don't know whatever happened to it. But I started getting into paintball as a game, just to get my mind off things, you know, recreation time, I guess, with my friends. And it developed. I had a skill of playing the game, and I got put in a professional team. I even played in the ESPN grounds. You know, I did a lot of great things with it. I won trophies. I won certain things. That I got my jerseys. You know, do I really even have them around anymore? Not really. I didn't take it very serious. But did I actually get paid from it? Yeah, I actually got to a point of getting paid for that. So people say that would have been a great career. I'm happy the way it came out. But yes, I did play paintball and to a professional level. A hobby of riding Harleys. That was I gotta thank the motorcycle world for me to see who I really was. For me to follow my career. I have great friends in the motorcycle world. Some very close, very, very close. And even though I have only positive things to talk about it, even though I don't belong to it any longer, I still have very great friends in the motorcycle world. So it was a part of my life that I got into that led me to where I'm at now. Was it a hobby? It was more of a lifestyle. It wasn't a hobby, it was a lifestyle. And I'm glad I did that in my life. Taught me a lot in life. And met very great people that to this day are very great people to me and very dear to me. And I got nothing bad to say about it. It was great. Good times. What hobbies do I enjoy doing in my spare time? Wrestling. I love watching wrestling. That's my thing since I was a kid. Everything has to do with it, from turning a heel to a baby face or turning a baby face to a heel, you know, and that's wrestling talk. I know a lot of people might not understand what I'm saying, but as a wrestling fanatic, you know, because I really am a huge wrestling fan when it comes to that. I felt something in my hair, pulling my hair, so it was my change. So, it's just it's live poetry. How they cut promos and they work angles, and I love it. And it got me through a lot of crazy scenarios that certain times, because of wrestling, I would stay home and watch my favorite wrestler, watch my wrestling in general, and find out that something very horrific happened when they invited me to this. So I have to thank wrestling also. But I love it as a hobby. I love studying it. Everything has to do with it. And I also have different hobbies. I love painting and collecting horror film things. I'm into horror films a lot. And collecting memorabilia. I like to have a little piece of history of everybody in this world that I admire, you know, and enjoy my family. I love that, you know, being with my family, watching wrestling with my children. I actually have a wrestling name that my little one named me, Mamucho. Call me Mamucho. Me and my oldest were always wrestling. I actually wrestle with the little one, but it cannot be, you know, he's more in the rugged side. Pag! He doesn't really measure himself, you know. So, but he calls me Mamucho. What wrestler would I like to meet in the future? The one and only. Oh, hell yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm not a fan of anybody whatsoever. But when it comes to Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'm a fan. That dude is that man outside of the ring. He is the Texas Rattlesnake. One and only. And I admire him a lot for what he's done. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something that I've never shown anybody in this world. Check this out. This is how much of a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan I am. Watch this. I don't know if you can see it there. Can you see it? Can you see it there? Look at that. Austin, Stone Cold, baby. All day, every day. All day, every day. Oh, hell yeah. What a childhood I had. And it actually saved me from doing a lot of bad things in my life. Those Mondays, those Thursdays, I used to watch the pay-per-views. I used to go and just watch it for Stone Cold Steve Austin. And, you know, I don't want to go overboard here. But Stone Cold, one day I'm going to meet you, man. One day I'm going to meet you. My biggest inspiration and role model in life, that's simple, my father. My father has taught me so much in life. And even though a lot of times I did not listen for being young and naive and stupid, he was always right at the end. My father is such a big inspiration in my life. It's just, words can't even describe it. I have so much to say. I can say so much. He's just, you know, he's taught me how to be a father, how to take care of my family, what's important, priorities in life. And great businessman, I tell you that. Man, that's like he's the Vince McMahon of business, you know, in the streets. He's just, he is that dude, you know. He's a genius, you know, and what he does, media, you know, he just, it's so much I could say, you know, it's just so much I can actually say. No camera has enough footage for me to, it's an infinite amount of things I can say about my father. Bottom line, he's my biggest inspiration, and he has made me a way better person in life, and I love him very much for that. Big shout out to my dad. Useless talents. I don't really have useless talents. The talents that I have, I pretty much exploit them on the spot. But I don't really have useless talents. Besides, I'm a very fidgery, jittery guy. I don't know how to really say the word, but I'm always got to be doing something. I'm like that. I'm like very hyper. And I have this thing, it's like, I don't know if it's a habit or it's just something that I could do. I could wiggle my ear. You know, I just have that. And people have told me, you're so used to doing it that you do it even when you're talking. I don't really pay attention to it until I see myself in a camera or something like that. It's funny to me. You know, I don't care about what people think. I am who I am. You know, I'm just me. And so that's a pretty cool, useless talent of me being able to do that. And, you know, I could crack my tongue in 3 and all these little things. They stopped being useless until my children were born. So I entertain them with it now. You know, hey, look at the ear. They say it creeps them out, but you know, it entertains them, all right? Next question. I'm not going to say no biggest screw-ups. Because I think about it I've thought about this before. Have I ever actually screwed up? What I think used to be a screw-up led me to something beautiful in life. So, none. I've never screwed up. Don't ever think that you ever screwed up. You're still here. Dumbest way I've ever injured myself. Now we're going to go back to the motorcycle thing. Sometimes I'm stubborn. I'm a stubborn person. Headstrong. I actually have a tattoo in the middle of my stomach. I was trying to drill something into my motorcycle. You know, this little custom plate thing that I had into a part of the motorcycle. And I'm not going to get into the whole details of it, but I'm trying to put this thing, and I couldn't, it was hard because it was behind like another little piece, and it was hard for me to grip it like this and drill it from the side. So what did I do? I decided to grab it like some scissors and put the bolt right here like this. And I get the drill. I remember the person that was with me that day tells me, that is the worst idea I've ever seen in my life. Shush! Shush! That was the exact same way I answered. Shush! I know what I'm doing. And right when I started drilling, wiggled straight into my arm. Why talk more? Stupid. I'll tell you a little bit about my tattoos. Oh man. And you mentioned multiple. I don't have multiple. I feel like I have just one big tattoo. I've made sure to do that. Like, I don't like having one tattoo over here, one tattoo over here. I just made sure I filled myself up literally from head to toe. I have a couple on my face and stuff like that, but each tattoo signifies something to me. Some story of my life. It could be a bad one, and it could be a very positive one. You know, whatever stays true to my heart, I tattoo it. I'm not into pretty tattoos. I don't like that. I don't like those tattoos that look all nice and finesse and stuff like that. And I have a love-hate situation with tattoos. So I've always said, if I knew, you know, and I don't want people to take it the wrong way, but at the same time I really don't care because I speak my mind. If I knew that tattoos were going to become what they became nowadays, I would have never gotten tattoos done. Ever. And if I did, I would have got them in places that nobody would have ever seen them. I started getting tattooed after I left school. 14 years old, I started getting tattooed. And it was something, it was earned, you know, I don't know, it had a different meaning behind it. I understand that it's a lot more seen correctly now, but unfortunately, I don't know if I can say fortunately, everything gets so played out when it's, you ever heard the quote, you give a finger and they take the whole hand? That's what has happened with that. Like, it's more approved nowadays, and people don't see it the way they see it. The older crowd does still see it like that. But it's so jokey like now that the only way you could separate yourself from the rest of everybody else that's tattooed, because I'm talking about people that haven't been involved in nothing in their life for full tattoos. I'm talking about nothing. They haven't done nothing. They have no type of street cred. They nobody. You could go to any town. They don't even know who they are. Anybody. So there's only one way you can ever separate yourself, and it's literally getting to the point of showing the whole world I'm going to tattoo myself in places that you know for a fact I can never get a job. It sounds horrific what I'm saying right now. But let's be realistic about it. It's not like you're going to be a banker, you know, with face tattoos and your head full tattoos and your neck and all this, and you're so filled with it, you know, that it's already on and beyond. So, you know, like I said, I have a love-hate situation with my tattoos, but my tattoos are mine, so how do I make it different? I stayed with the style of tattoos since day one. Give me raw, none of that pretty stuff. I don't want that pretty little looking tattoos and all perfectly fine and no. Give me that old school thick line nastiness, you know. Give me that nitty gritty. That's what I want. You know, pay $50. My stuff. Do I have any tattoo? I have one tattoo that I regret, and I got rid of it already. And it was actually this lion right here. Mind if I get close to the camera? That lion right there, you see it? That lion, that right there, and I still need a couple of sessions on top of that. That was something I really regretted, you know, and it was, I'm not going to say the university has to do with it, but it represented a university. And I have so many pictures all over the internet with that big stamp there. Boom! It's like everybody got to see this. See a couple of people back there laughing. Yeah, you know, Miami guy with that thing. You know, trust me, I realized a lot of things after time. What the hell was I thinking? But, you know, it just happens. It happens, you know. It's one of those days. One of those days. You know what, I'm going to do it. So and that's the only tattoo I actually regret doing. And it's off now, at least for now, until more sessions, and it's complete. I'll probably just block out my whole arm if it gets rowdier. What tattoo do I love the most? I have a lot of tattoos that I love very much. So I will have to pick 3 into one, you know, I guess. Something like that. Something in those compounds. I don't know if you're getting what I'm trying to say over here, but I have my oldest son right here. See right there with the 2 clovers, because it's the biggest blessing in the world. The clovers, the only day I could remember with a horseshoe. And then I have the little one on my neck right here. And I actually kept that space empty there for a long time, because I always said, when I have my next kid, I'm going to put it on my neck, you know, because I have no space anymore. And I don't want to put it, you know, somewhere in my body that cannot be seen. So I made sure that my oldest is right in my forearm, back of my forearm, and my little one is on my neck. Now, I put this one mainly on my neck because my oldest son is very proud of naming his little brother. And he actually did name his little brother. My little one, his name is Jack, you know. So I don't know what my oldest son was looking at. Because, man, those Jacks, you ever heard the song, you know, that they have a lot, actually it's not one, it's a lot of songs about Jacks. Man, they're a cannonball. They're a cannonball, they're a cannonball. My oldest, I named him, okay, how can I put this? Because I don't want to mention my name over here, you know, but it's a mix between my name and my father's name, you know, that I'm, you know, very proud of. So, I don't want to be mentioning names, but let's just say it's in the Jose Antonio style. That's my father's name. Well, everybody knows my father's name, Jose Montoya. But his nickname, his middle name, is Antonio, so I named my son Joe Antonio. We'll keep it like that. That's the farthest I'm gonna go with the real name. Now everybody's gonna go Google my real name. The biggest tattoo that I have, you know that, once again, like I said, I made sure to keep my tattoo all in one big thing. But, obviously you gotta do pieces, and then you do the whole surrounding of it and the whole background or whatever you want to call it. But my biggest tattoo is my back. Is my back piece, and it's for the Cubans is La Virgen de la Caridad de Cobre. That's the Lady of Charity. To us, to me as a Muslim, and I know you guys are probably gonna bring something up like that, but I keep my personal life as private as possible to me, but I'm proud of who I am as a person and what I've become. For us Muslims, she's called Miriam. So I have her tattooed on my whole back, and that was, I still haven't finished it, and I have probably like 30 hours on my back, and I still haven't finished it, because I wanted so much details and so much things going on with it, and there's certain things I've even actually had to go right through that I've hit a 4-hour session and then go do another 4-hour session. It's like, I don't like how that water came out. I wanted the water like this, and they've actually been able to fix it. So just fixing one issue is 8 hours, So it is what it is, but I have a lot of hours on that back piece, and I keep fixing it. The smallest tattoo that I have is is my holy molar. It's called the holy molar, and that is something that has to do with me and my good, real close friends that know the significance of it. And I actually have it. I can't twist my neck to this point, but I think I have it around here. Around here. Is it around here? Is it around here? Right here? It's there. There you go. It's the smallest little one I have. It's a molar. It's a molar. It doesn't mean anything. It just means a molar. Oh, I have a lot of 7s tattooed. Yes, I do. Since I was a kid, I had my favorite number was 7. But I was fantasized with that number. That 7 to me meant something, and I was said to myself, man, I don't know what it is with that number, but that number it's always in my mind. Always, always, always there. It's always there, always there, always there. Well, to make the story short, my firstborn was born on a 7th. I was married. I met the love of my life on a 7th, on a month 7. Everything has met up so much to the 7. So I have 7. I don't know if my little one has something to do with it. I haven't paid attention to it. I think there is something. My wife brought up this timetable thing there, and and something came up with 7 also. But 7 is just a number that has always been in my mind. Does it have a big meaning behind it? It does have a big meaning. And there's not much I could, there's only but so much I could talk about it. There's only but so much, but it was something that led to something that was pretty shocking to me. Pretty shocking to me, and it's just, it's the number that's pretty incredible. Plus, it's actually the number of my religion of Islam, so it's just, it all leads to these things that I just never knew it could actually come to play like this in my life. And no, my religion is not because of the 7. I know already what people are gonna say, but yeah, that's the whole thing with 7. The 19 stands for, that's very direct. It has to do with my youngest son, the day he was born. And a lot of people think that it has to do with a lot of, once again, the number 719 that I actually have it tattooed on my face. I actually have that tattooed on my face. The 719, it was a coincidence that there's something in my background that has to do with the 719, and my second child was born on the 19th. So I said, you know what, man, this is going on my face. This is going on my face, man. On the face. No more of that conversation. You guys want to get too deep into things. The show Maurice. That was the debut of LP, baby. LP. You know what's LP? Lil Primo. That's my oldest son. Yeah, he's a replica of me, and I'm raising him the same way too. Of course, without bitterness or nothing like that, but you know, I have taught him. That's LP, Lil Primo. He is mini me. It's shocking. And like I'm talking about, it's just shocking how incredible. I look at him and I say to myself, wow, I was pretty handsome when I was a kid. I'll be cocky, man. Hey, my kids are gorgeous to me, man. I love my children so much. But yeah, that's LP. And he came out in Maurice, you know, and it's like, you know, that he was the son of somebody else, and that supposedly this guy thought, you know, it was a skit. Somebody thought, he thought it was his son, and he would be like, oh, that kid looks just like me. And when they put him in the screen, it's a replica of me. And the girl was like, look at him, he looks just like him, you know. But I'm Maurice in the skit, and you know, I'm looking at the kid like, oh man, it was a great skit. You guys, you know, I'll probably get that. I know a lot of the things, all my TV shows, you know, I've always said I want to get rid of all that, because the TV show had a lot of things that I really regret in life. Am I happy in my personal life? Happiness is not even the word for it. I am so high on life right now, and I love my life so much. I love it so much that I wish everybody would see it my way. Was there one time in my life that I wasn't 100% happy with it. And it wasn't that I was missing something, or I was broke, or I didn't have a love life, or I had no children. None of that. I had it all. Mentally, I wasn't 100%. And I didn't realize what was beautiful in life. Until one day I did realize that. You know, when I was actually at my lowest mentally, and when I thought everybody was against me and everybody, you know, was out to you know, you create these vendettas in your mind and all these things. And of course, I know that there's people in this world that are not going to like me. I'm not a golden token. But that slips. To me, it's nothing. But not live with it. So I just realized that how beautiful life was, how I really have everything in this life. And happy is not even the word for it. It's beyond that I cannot put words to describe it. But if I had to say yes or no, yes. Yes. Very much yes. I used to think that I've been betrayed before, till not that long ago. During my whole time away from the industry, music industry and all that, and even my TV show, I used to think I was betrayed. I don't think like that anymore. I'm not that dude. I don't think like that anymore. I got betrayed. You stick yourself in certain scenarios. It's just the way it works. A betrayal is when you are actually a good person to this person constantly, or to this individual, and you're always great to them as a spouse, a brother, a great friend, and it's years of you having that friendship, because I consider everything a friendship. You know, my best friends is my own family. It's that the person has never done anything wrong to you, has never oppressed you in a way, has ever treated you bad in a way, has never told you to test yourself to them in any way. Because I've always said that a person that does this to somebody else, that just for you to be my friend, you have to test yourself to be my friend. You better get what's coming to you. You understand? It's just the way it works. That's the universe taking care of what you're doing yourself. That's why I've always said I've never betrayed anybody that hasn't had it coming to them. Somehow, some way, you've done something incorrectly. Because a person should be natural with that person and treat them correctly from the moment they meet them, and create a friendship. Not that you have to prove yourself to me, or have to prove this, or bully you in any type of way, or any type of psychological testing. Those are all wrong things, and you're gonna get back your payback. So I cannot say I was betrayed, because I used to live in that realm of, I want to see who's the real deal. Oh, this guy did this to me, I'm gonna get him back, and this and this and that and whatever. I'm not that guy anymore, so I can't really talk, and I cannot really say I ever got betrayed, because my friends, my real true friends, and my true childhood friends are still my friends to this day. Guess there will never be a betrayal between us. Might have an argument or something like that, but you'll never see a betrayal, because you know what you have built together. So have I ever been betrayed? No. Alhamdulillah. The best advice I've ever given any of my friends, before it wasn't very good advice. Before, my advices were very shallow. Very shallow. But I always had a good priority. I've never been that much of a wreck. Best advice that I have ever given a friend is to love themselves. I cannot stand if somebody tells me I love you and you don't love yourself first. That's why when somebody comes up to me and I see them, that they truly don't love themselves, they're doing wrong things in life, they're in the wrong path in life, they don't care about their own well-being. How are you gonna love me if you don't care about yourself first? How am I supposed to trust that? That's like getting with a woman that's cheating on a man. How can I trust a person? Just put yourself in that same scenario. How could you trust if you meet a female and that female is married with a man or has a boyfriend and cheats on that guy, or same vice versa, not just females, let's switch it up. Man or woman, and they're cheating. What makes you think that person's not gonna do to you too? That person, that's not to be trusted. So when people tell me, love you, Primo, I always say, yourself first. And I have a lot of faith in Allah. And what made me choose my religion. This is a deep one. That's a deep conversation. That's something deep, and it can last for a very long time, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. I have always had this connection with Allah. Since I was a kid, I didn't I used to call it God. I used to call him God, And I always knew I had a direct connection with him, and I never wanted nothing in between him and me. I always saw him as the ultimate thing, the ultimate creator, and I say him, and that to me, I don't even like saying that, because he's beyond an entity. You know, somebody that knows about my religion, about Islam, they know that's way beyond. He has no entity. He is the almighty creator. So I always wanted that connection with my creator and nothing in between. No images, no nothing like that, because that to me is so shallow of how much of a beauty he creates. If you look at these things, we came from nothing to this is the only, we're living this. So, and I've always said a person with no faith, or a person that doesn't believe in anything, is a person that cannot be trusted in no way whatsoever. So I've always been a person of faith. What led me to Islam? No one in this world ever spoke to me about becoming or converting. That I don't even like to say the word converting. I like to say revert into being a Muslim. Because everybody's born a Muslim. All they know when they're born is God. God, that's it. Then comes the force feeding of other things in their mind. So, or doctrines. And I said to myself, when I went, that I was one of the lowest of my life, that I saw my second child born, and I knew that my family was suffering the fact of the way I was living my life. And I thank Allah every single day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every single day for giving me, for giving them the strength to put up with me. You understand? I wasn't easy to put up with. So I started changing myself. I started changing who I was as a person. Letting go of my hatred, letting go of this anger that I had inside, letting go of these vendettas. And I used to live my life through a vendetta. It was like anybody just said something wrong to me, I used to say, I'm going to get this person back. I'm going to get this person back. And I'm going to mess up everything that he knows. I'm going to mess it all up. That's who I was. It was, no man could ever comprehend whatever went through or whatever was going on in my mind. You know, so I made sure to start changing my life and the way I was. And I forgave all these people. And I didn't forgive these people, like I've always said, for them. I forgave them for myself. Because I do not want to live with that hatred. I don't want to live with that anger. I don't care about having that in my mind no more. And one day, something extremely beautiful happened to me in my life. And it started happening more repetitiously. And like I said, when I was a kid, I used to call him God for, you know, for regular society that we're living in through, because I don't live in Saudi or nothing like that. I don't live in you know, that part of the world. So God to people, but I used to always, in my mind, always say Allah. And Allah and Allah, and I got the message. You want the direct thing? I saw something that had nothing to do with Islam whatsoever. I just felt inside of my heart that that was the truth. Me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and nothing in between. Nothing in between. The Muslim that comes up to you and says that he guides himself by a doctrine of somebody, that's not a Muslim. It's first and foremost, it's Allah. Allah, first and foremost, God to people. He is everything first, then comes the rest. And that's what I saw this and I read this. And I said, how do I get to that? How do I get to that? What is that? I said, you know what? Muslim, a submitter to the one and only God, to the only one, a submitter to God. And that's who I am. I submit to him every single day of my life, and I thank him every single day of my life. And for him, for the rest of my days, the rest, for every breath that I do, I will take and love every blessing that he has given me. That's when Islam came to my life. And I've always said that each person, I don't criticize no religion, nobody's religion. I don't care. Whatever leads you to God, whatever leads you to Allah, that is your path. But if you want the real truth, I've always said, you and him alone. You and him alone. There's no bigger love in the world than him. You're alive. That's all I gotta say. Where there's life, there's hope always. So, I read certain things. I didn't even have to read that much. I went. I got my witnesses. I did my shahada. And here I am, a proud Muslim, submitter to God, a servant to Allah. Now that he wants me as a servant. It's just that's my job. For me to serve him is for me to be a better person in life. And for me to take care of his creation and to love the creation. And to love what he has blessed me with. That's how you serve Allah. The rest, to me, don't mean nothing. Be a good person. Be what's inside of your heart. Allah speaks to everybody. So, I was just true to myself. Islam is my religion. And I wish everybody everything but greatness in this life. And don't hate, you regulate. Thank you for having me. Thank you for taking your time to do this for me. Thank you for, because I know this takes time. So I want to thank you. I love everybody very much. Wish the best of journeys to humanity. Be yourself. And join Primo in the future. Let's go have some fun. Let's enjoy life. Peace.